Hi, Rebecca.
It's so tough. That music is so tough.
It's so tough. Someone said we stole it. And I'm like, no, I didn't steal anything. I paid for that. Are you kidding me?
Oh, it's from like one of those licensing places?
I got it from it's from Soundstripe.
Nice. You can do,
Yeah.
for those of you making podcasts out there, this Free Music Archive is a place you can just look at the rights, permissions for everything that's there. And we subscribe at NHPR to, oh shoot, what's it called? It's only like $10 a month. I'll think of it. It's freaking fantastic. It's like, it has everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Soundstripe's a little bit more expensive, but it's good. They've got an amazing library, and I actually have composers that I absolutely love there that I use a lot for the in-between. Cody Martin is one of my favorite composers, and I use all of his music for the in-between podcast. But anyway, this is
I remembered. It's called Epidemic Sound, and it's amazing.
Epidemic Sound,
and you can filter by like genre and mood and color and like exposition. And
you can choose instruments. Like I love a cello.
True crime, big cello, man. That's what it's all about.
I love a cello. Anyway, speaking of true crime, I am Mel Barrett.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie.
I caught you on a drink. Welcome to the in-between. Oh, no. See, I did it. Welcome to Something's Off, a true crime podcast, kind of, where we're pretty much just fueled by one thought, which is what the actual fuck is going on.
Tangents are aplenty because
tangents are aplenty.
Yes. I actually asked your permission to go on a tangent on this episode before we started taping. That's why we're both smiling.
You did. And we were laughing so hard just before the intro started playing. And I cannot wait for Rebecca to play this sound for you that she's going to play for you. And I'm so excited that I can probably also use this sound when, like whenever we bring up something maybe we don't like so much or, grosses us out or whatever it might be. Do you want to give a little backstory?
So I just want to let listeners know, don't be afraid because you're going to be like, I don't want to hear that, but you do. My husband famously makes the most bizarre and monstrous sounds when he is vomiting. And he had like neurovirus or a stomach virus earlier this week. I promise you, if you're like, ew, I promise you. I played this at like dinner and everybody thought it was great. So I have a couple of examples here. This is only like a couple seconds. If you absolutely think you can't handle it, mute for a second, but I think you'll be fine because I'm a person who can't stand gross sounds and I'm fine with it. So you ready?
Yeah.
Here's number one. Hold on. Yeah, there's one. I have another one. Hold on. Yeah, real sound. Anyway.
Kevin.
He's fine. He's completely better. If he
wasn't
his sounds are so bad that I was standing outside and I was in the living room and that was like in the bathroom, which is like another room away. And I taped it and then he was still really sick. And I was like, can I just play this for you? He's like, yeah. I played it for him. If he did that to me, I would cry. I'd burst out into tears. If I still felt really, really sick.
Oh yeah.
And I would be like, why are you making fun of me? But he was just like, oh, it made me feel so much better. He's like, you've been trying to tell me. I was like, I have for 18 years.
Like recording someone who snores, who doesn't believe they snore. But for the new members, like Megan O'Callahan, who just became a member, thank you, Megan. We started our show off today with vomiting sounds. So that should tell you something about how this is going to go. Speaking of members, we have quite a few new members, and I'm so excited that you all are here. We're actually working up some plans. We're not going to tell you what they are just yet, but we have some pretty good ideas for some member gifts that we're going to be possibly working on here. So that'll be coming up soon. And outside of that, we're talking a little bit more about, I think I like this live format, so I'm hoping we're going to keep doing this.
Well, let's be honest. Let's be really transparent with the viewers. It's a lot easier for you.
It is.
You still spend all the time prepping, but the platform we use to record, great recording platform for shorter things. But when you get into the 45-minute plus hour plus 2 hours, like the editing becomes very bearish on the video side with syncing and stuff. So I don't like the idea of you spending an entire day working on a thing that felt live to tape when we did it. So if this doesn't go well, And we're gonna make more mistakes, and we're gonna be
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
moment, I'll probably be asking you guys over here in the comments to weigh in on something that I'm messing up. So
Yeah, for sure, and on that note, on Thursday's episode, I'm hoping this is gonna happen on Thursday's episode, but, we covered the Sam Nordquist case, the last episode, which is a case that's, like, sort of near and dear to my heart. Not sort of, it is near and dear to my heart. And I heard from Sam's mom and sister, Linda and Kayla, because I interviewed them for
yeah,
the podcast.
yeah,
So we've been in touch, and they said that there were some details that were wrong in the reporting. So I've asked them to let me know what I can correct for them for the
yeah.
on the record. And I say that because Sam's case hasn't gone to trial yet. So
Mhm.
the only people who actually know what they experienced are Kayla and Linda. But a lot of the details of the case are just from news reporters in the area who've been covering it and who listen to what the DA is telling them, or, in the new article that came out in I think it's called the Democrat Chronicle. I think it's like a local,
Sounds like a weekly.
who had a lot more details, unfortunately, about what happened to Sam than had been released before. So, you know, they want to correct the record.
Yeah,
And I told them that I want to get his story right. So to let me know what I can correct on the record, and I'll hopefully be doing that on Thursday. But I just want to let
absolutely.
you know
We should
that they
absolutely
reached
do that.
out.
Yeah.
We get, I do feel like reporting is difficult sometimes, in this day and age, because there's so much information swirling out there, and you have to figure out who the good sources are. And in a case like this that hasn't gone to trial yet, so you're only relying on what the DA has told you and what the family can tell you and what the news reports say, so things are going to get wrong. So I want to, as a journalist, I want to make sure I get it right. So that's why I reached out to them, just to make sure everything was okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me show you this. Otter Pops.
I am not the busiest woman in
Yes,
podcasting.
you are.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Honestly, I am very good at holding boundaries around my time. Kevin works for our company full time. So a lot of what I do is, which seems like it would be a tremendous amount of work, is me showing up. And so, what takes the most time is reviewing all the media we have to
Yeah.
do for both Crime Writers and for the Netflix show that I host.
Mhm.
They, Netflix will send us a preview of a 8 or 10 part documentary series, and I
Mhm.
have to watch that before I interview the
Right.
person who made it. I know that not everybody does. I feel so strongly about having watched every minute of something before I interview somebody about it, because you always pick up something
Yes.
like in the finer details.
Mhm.
I'll never forget, we did Cheer, both seasons 1 and 2 with Greg
Mhm.
Whiteley, who was the director, who I love. And he, just like in the details of, the little pieces here and there, like, or Erin Lee Carr is another great example. Like, she'll notice
Love
when
her.
she did something that was clearly like a filmmaker trick. And
Yeah.
I love being able to bring that stuff up because it just brings people to life. So that
Yes.
takes a lot of time, watching the stuff that we're going to be reviewing. And then Kevin does a lot of our writing, like intro writing, script writing for Crime Writers. He
Yeah.
does all the production for Netflix. So we're a team making
Oh,
that.
wow.
And he does a lot of them. Like, and I have to go to a bi-weekly meeting with them. That's it. And then I
Yeah.
do this with you. And I do every other week, we do These Are Their Stories, which you have
Yeah.
to come on, by the way.
I know.
Have you been booked yet?
I haven't been booked yet, but you guys have asked me to come on for sure.
Yeah.
We just haven't done the booking yet, because I think,
Yeah.
holidays, it's been really busy.
Those who don't know, my husband and I make a podcast about Law and Order and SVU called These Are Their Stories.
It's
And
really
it
funny.
is really fun. And we get special guests on every week, every episode, to basically shit on an episode of Law and Order or SVU. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Otter Pops, again, I wanted to put another one of her comments, or their comments, up. I'm not sure. Mom of 2 trans kids, so I'm going to say her, I guess, unless they identify something else. I don't know.
I think I might
Thank
know
you
who
for
that
covering.
is.
Oh, you do?
Maybe.
Oh, thank you for covering Sam's case, but it's so hard to hear. Things must get better for our kids. I completely agree. Yes, Ruby is here in the background. She's sleeping, but she's not sleeping. Come here, Bubba.
Briscoe's not here because he was being a punk ass bitch.
How's Stewie doing?
Stewie, I thought he was okay. So I have this Lazarus dog named Stuart. He's 14.
Lazarus.
He's almost died so many times, and we always think like this could be it. And last week we had another one. We're like, this could be it. Like, he was really sick. He gets stomach stuff all the time. He takes like Pepsid prophylactically,
Mhm.
like, and so
Mhm.
he felt really sick for some reason. He ate a bunch of the Christmas tree. And then
Oh,
he stopped eating. He started becoming really
that's
slow.
nice.
And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, this could be it. Like, maybe this is the sick that's like, and then
Mm.
again, over the weekend, started pepping up. He's still throwing up some Christmas tree pieces, but he's eating.
Oh,
He's
buddy.
pooping. He's starting to do a little tick, 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 tick down the road again. Like, I don't think that was it.
Every time he throws up, you should just play Kevin's sound in the background,
Oh,
and then
oh yeah. I could just do it right now. I could just do it like.
You really have to send it to me because I can turn it into I can turn it into a sound effect.
I have 4 of them. So,
Oh my
anyway.
gosh.
But Christmas tree
Anyway,
is not poisonous to dogs. It is uncomfortable for dogs to eat, though, is the
it
thing to bear
very
in
much
mind.
so.
It's prickly.
Yes. I mean, speaking of dogs, I was on the phone this morning before you and I jumped on. We did our State of the Union this morning, which I enjoyed.
Our State of the
Um,
Union.
our State of the Union, yes. But just before we did that, I was on the phone with a vet dermatologist and then our regular vet, and then back to a dermatologist, and then back to our regular vet. Poor Ruby, we adopted her. I think it's been March will be 2 years when we adopted her, and she came to us. She was a backyard breeder. I think I've told the story. Her adopted name was Dolly because she has giant nipples because she was a mama dog. um, but she came to us with an ear infection, and she still has it
Oh,
2
yeah.
years later. It's
Yeah.
just like
I have a friend with a dog
poor
like that. Yeah.
I feel so bad for her.
Stinky.
She's yeah, it's just
Yeah.
I feel bad for her. She's got bad skin issues, so we're trying to work it out. We've done everything.
We tried the
And
holistic food with the fish and all that bullshit.
everything. We've done that. We've done Cytopoint. We've done Apoquel. We've done, whatever. Dog is human, everything. I give her collagen and fish oil, and I do everything. And just nothing is helping this poor dog. So we're hoping that they can fix it because the pet insurance won't cover it.
Stop
It's
being
a
a punk
pretty
ass bitch with your ear, Ruby. Although this one's not your
Oh,
fault. Briscoe was
no,
just
it's
being
not
a
her fault.
punk ass baby bitch. He was barking. He was whining. He was having a
Well, he's still
tantrum.
kind of a puppy, right? How old is he?
He's 6, 5.
Oh,
He's I got him in
he was
2020. No,
I thought
he'll
he was
be
like 2 or
6
3.
in March.
Oh,
No, he
just kidding then.
behaves like he's a baby because he was a pandemic dog, and he's exceedingly attached to me, and he's
Are
real
you
clingy.
are you gonna
But
bring him to Gloucester?
can I?
You can. Ruby gets along great with other
Oh,
dogs, and
I
we're
can,
bringing
then I
Ruby.
will.
Oh, wait, no,
Yeah.
wait, we're not bringing Ruby, we're
Oh,
flying.
oh,
Damn it. We take her with us everywhere usually, but we're flying this time, so she's
yeah.
not coming. Yeah,
Gotcha.
bummer.
Well, then
That would
forget
be
it.
so much fun. I know,
Fuck
sorry.
that shit.
Anyway, so I think we have some slight Karen Reed-ish adjacent
Gossip.
stuff, shit to talk about. But before we do that, I just want to say again, thank you to our tippers. You guys are amazing. Every time my phone lights up and it's like, so and so just sent you $10, it makes me like, it really truly warms my heart. I was just telling Rebecca, my biggest stressor, the thing that makes me feel like I'm about to have a panic attack, is I stress about money quite a bit. Not that I want to get into the ins and outs of like everyone's money issues, but it's the beginning of the year. The holidays fell at a weird time this year. So all payments in this industry, for me anyway, have been completely delayed, like advertising money, anything that I, survive on to pay my bills. And of course, all my bills come due at the beginning of the month. And so I was near panic attack levels this morning, stressing about money. But we got like a $10 tip this morning. And I have to say, it eased my mind so much to be like, it's nice to see somebody, paying to hear us do what we do. It still seems unfathomable to me, but it just really makes my day every time you guys send in a tip. Oh, I should probably put up the banner. Hold on. If you would like to tip,
Look at you put it up live. Just keep it up, man.
Ooh, I didn't mean to take it off. I don't know why I took
Yeah,
it off.
just let that grift roll as
I know a lot of people have said, like, outside of the United States, they can't use Venmo or Cash App. So we're trying to figure out something for that. If you would like to send tips from outside of the United States, we do have quite a few followers from outside of the good old, I guess, United States, good old white boys, America.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll figure out something with that. I have a PO box, which I can't remember off the top of my head right now. We're going to be posting that too, because it's going to involve what we have planned for the members. But anyway, let's get into some true crimey, gossipy news. A couple of things have happened. I know Turtle Boy did a stream the other day where he was talking. I didn't get a chance to read the papers on the Cosgrove situation.
No, I read them. They're kind of what you would expect. We can talk about them more on Thursday, or actually,
okay.
We talk about them more on Thursday because I have some thoughts, but I just want to make sure that I'm not getting stuff wrong. I just wanted to talk about this stupid gossipy bullshit thing that happened.
Yeah.
That's very funny, in my opinion.
Yes. There's a couple of things, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, there's this coven of anti Karen Reed folks who have a stream now, like a YouTube channel, and they do lives and stuff. And I think their queen is Carrie Llama or Mama Llama on Twitter, who's a real pain in the dick, honestly. Like,
I think their queen is Kevin Lanahan from.
Well, Kevin Lanahan was on this one, but they did a Spaces a few nights ago, and Chris Albert was in the Spaces, and he was. I don't think it is unreasonable to say that he was inebriated. I don't think he appeared to be very inebriated. I did not listen to the whole thing. And it's so funny because somebody at this new Twitter account that popped up was like, I don't believe people when they say they didn't actually listen to the whole stream and they just got clips. I'm like, no, literally, I got the clips from you. Like, that's who I got.
I couldn't figure out where to find the whole stream because I would like to at least skim through it or put it on like 2 times speed or whatever. Ofo Show is asking
my favorite
what
thing,
are the clips.
Yeah, so it is on YouTube from what I understand. I'll find the stuff and I'll send it to you, Mel. Okay. I guess somebody put the Spaces up on YouTube, but the funniest part of the Spaces, I mean, Kevin was saying all these, Chris was saying all these kind of incoherent things. At one point he talked about Proctor's timing getting to Fairview, and it sounded very different than what everyone had testified to, but it's very hard to tell like what he meant when he said that. But my favorite moment in the whole thing was what happened. You know how sometimes people don't mute their mic? Is what I can actually play it because I have my Bluetooth ready.
Why don't you actually play it, and then
I'll send
if
it
I
to you
end
after.
up editing anything, I'll drop it in.
Totally. Yeah. But I'm going to play this for you and tell me what you think you hear in this piece of audio.
Okay.
The past 2.5 years. What the hell are you doing right now? I'm trying to hurt someone with the past 2.5 years rather than run one of these shows.
All right. What did you think you heard? Sorry. What did you think you heard just then?
I heard a guy say, "What the hell are you doing right now?" And then somebody
right now. Yeah.
It's someone in the background going, basically, "What the hell are you doing? You've been trying to hurt somebody for 2 years by going on these stupid shows, wasting your time, basically."
That was Chris Albert, and that was Julie Albert in the background. I mean, I'm presuming it was Julie Albert. I mean, it was a woman who was with Chris Albert, and this was very late at night. So he was on. Want to hear it again?
Yeah.
Let's just hear it again.
What are you doing right now? I'm trying to hurt someone with the past 2.5 years rather than run one of these shows.
Yeah.
You know what? That's crazy. You sent it to me. I wish that we had video of it, but
well, there's video of something else that happened subsequently. So what happened on that live at Spaces was that a man was on it making really explicit, violent threats against people, including Turtle Boy, right? And first of all, I also want to know what shows has Chris Albert been on in the last 2.5 years, because I will go back and like check him out. If anyone knows where I can see Chris Albert opining, like,
I mean, they might just be talking about what was it, 2020 or Dateline?
Yeah, maybe. But she said stupid ass shows. So I'm thinking it's like lives and stuff. Anyway, so what happened was all this stuff happened. And it turns out the man making the physical threats that Chris Albert was laughing at and not disagreeing with was Jen McCabe's brother-in-law, her husband Matt's brother.
Right.
Okay, so this has now like all been out there. So it happened. Carrie Llama, Mama Llama was tweeting like, all the free Karen Reed people are just like, they're going crazy because Chris Albert had the nerve to speak out or whatever. And then, let me see if I can get this again. Hold on.
Wait, is this the one you sent me yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, I can play this on the screen because I have it.
So play this one on the screen because this is what happened after. And this is actually, if anything makes it newsworthy, I mean, it's nothing, none of this shit is newsworthy, but if any of this makes it worth talking about, it's this thing that happened next.
Yeah, okay, so give me just a second. You keep talking.
This was a podcast stream, and I see Julie, what's her face on it. I see Julie, what's her puss, as I like to call her.
What's a puss?
That's what Laura Bricker said. She always says, what's her puss? I see Carrie Lama. I see Kevin Lenahan. And I see people who I probably would know if I paid more attention to who real people are behind Twitter accounts. But they had a live, and they were all talking about Karen Read being guilty or whatever. And then this happened.
Okay, so let me...
Really wanted me to let you guys...
All right, here we go.
Give you the mic. Okay. So I just wanted to share a quick message tonight from Jen and Matt McCabe, Nicole and Brian Albert, and Brian Higgins, just regarding some deeply inappropriate statements that were made during a recent Spaces discussion. They just really want their supporters to know that they do not support or condone those remarks in any way. They were appalled and disgusted by what was said, and they really just want their supporters to be absolutely clear on that. And they are so grateful for the support you guys give them and the continued support, and just, it means so much to them. So they really wanted me to let you guys know that tonight. And that's it. They just wanted you guys to know that, and just to be clear on that.
In other words,
you the mic.
In other words,
hold on.
There's this continuing criminal case going on against somebody that we claim we are afraid of. And we are currently being sued civilly by somebody who is making a case that we are mean, violent people. So, you know, he's obviously not named in the civil case. He is one of the afraid people in the Turtle Boy case. But like, you just know that they're like, oh, fuck. Like literally everything these people say. Like when Carrie Roberts was on, she again contradicted her prior statements. Like every time these people talk, they seem to forget that what they say still has stakes attached to it. And that was certainly the case with Chris. Julie, by the way, not wrong that he should not be spending his time on these stupid fucking shows or whatever she called them. Although if he wanted to come in here, come on, come have us, Chris. But but like they should still be really careful. And some of them are not being careful.
Well, they think it's all over because the 2 criminal trials are over, but the civil cases, they're all still involved. I mean, I know Chris isn't named, is he? Albert?
Chris Albert's not in the civil case. But
so he's going to screw his brother, though.
But there's something else going on at the same time, is that their Give, Send, Go Defending the Truth campaign, defendingthetruth.org, Give, Send, Go Defending the Truth, with their billboards and their donations. The tone of the donor comments has changed so much. I check it once a week. So because there's always an influx of stuff over the weekend. Yeah. Whether I have theories about why that is, but we'll let those be. But the tone of the comments has turned into like, you're brave, you're wonderful, you're standing up, you're this. It's gone from calling everybody a cunt, which is what it was before, to call it to talking about just how wonderful and kind and gentle they all are. And so clearly they've gotten advice, which is the right advice from a PR perspective and from a litigation perspective, to just be normal, just be regular people, be nice, don't condone bad behavior, like be the regular soccer mom. And that is clearly like the tonal shift that we're seeing. And I don't think this would have been disavowed a few months ago. I think they would have just said nothing. So the fact that they had to on purpose disavow it after Carrie Lama, by the way, tweeted about how great it was that he spoke up.
Wait, Mama Llama, is that her name?
Yeah.
It's interesting that it feels to me like they have some sort of a PR or something behind them. This is, you remember when, Jen McCabe took the stand finally in the second trial, and all of a sudden she had like a whole new look and a whole new demeanor. Like she's got a coach, and that coach is probably, I mean, in my opinion, I'm just assuming, is also coaching the team right now. So super planner girl.
I'll tell you, her
makeover, becoming a new member.
Her makeover, I'll just say, like, as makeovers go, was pretty good. She looked a completely different person.
Yeah, no, it looked great.
Like it was like one of those makeovers on like remember Oprah used to pull people out of the audience.
Yeah.
And then they'd come out and they'd be completely different people. Like it felt like that to me. And
the thing that was not a good look was the change in her demeanor, in my opinion. Because that was just ludicrous. Like her feigning like incredulity. Like her whenever
there's another door there.
There's a door there. I had never noticed it in the past 45 years that there was a door there. Or like when Alan Jackson would start to hammer her and she would act like a victim.
Yeah. I'm you to be more specific. I'm not saying I don't. I just don't remember.
And then she would like glance at the jury like, why is he being so hard on me? When we all saw what she did in the previous trial. So we know that was the real Jen McCabe, right. And so it's just like, oh God. And I had the idea that every time that we mention Jen McCabe's name, we also play the Kevin puking sound.
What sound is that? What? So I gotta put it on my board as a button because our board lets us do sounds as buttons.
Do you have access right now when you're looking at your StreamYard? Can you see like all of the elements that you can use or no?
I can see a settings button. I can see a screen. I think I see a screen share button. It's like a plus sign inside of a screen.
Okay, yeah. So I set you up as a co-host. So the next time we do this, you should come in as a co-host because all you're going to have to do is click. We have a whole sound effects library and you just click on the Kevin sound effects whenever I say Jen McCabe.
I have 4 of them. I have 4 different examples of the Kevin situation. So 2 of them are a little grosser, but I think the 2 of them that are grosser are the funniest ones personally.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
Yeah. All right. I'll let those rip once.
Okay. Jen McCabe. Oh my God, we're juvenile.
This poor guy. Luckily, he's got a good sense of humor. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin.
Oh, poor Kevin. I love him so much.
He's okay now. He's okay now.
Yeah, he's a good sport, man.
There was something really awful that happened when he was sick that I will not describe here because it does cross that line of ew. But I was literally like, my love has limits. You know where the laundry is. If you can walk, you can take care of that. Like I am not.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. It was like that. And I'm just like, so our wedding vows were like, in most sicknesses and in health.
Exactly.
I supported him great through cancer. I promise I did. I was never like my love has limits when he had actual cancer.
Yeah.
But a stomach flu, limits. Not by the way,
I told you
it doesn't limit me from taping him while he's making the world's funniest sounds. But
did I tell you about the apocalyptic New Year's Eve that we had last year, not this year?
No. You also aren't talking about the swing yet. Just saying.
The apocalyptic New Year's. I'll tell you this story really briefly. We'll tell the swing story later, but this is very much a Cliff Notes version. We had rented a little Airbnb, not little. It was pretty big actually. Airbnb in Deep Creek, which is like a little ski place, like a little wintry resort place that's about 45 minutes to an hour away from us. And we invited Lindsay's 2 sets of her cousins. And so we had Ruby, me, Lindsay, our 2 kids, and then we had 2 other couples and then 5 other kids. So there were 12, 13, 14 of us in the house, right? All the kids were under the age of 15, 15 and under. And everything was going great. New Year's Eve happened and we all had to leave by 10 a.m. the next morning. So
the worst, biggest scam in Airbnbs and hotels is checking in at 3 and checking out at 10.
Exactly. So total scam. So we were going about our day. Everybody had been, like all the adults had been drinking. I don't drink that much. So I was okay. And the kids were just doing what they were doing. We were having a good time. And Easton, our oldest, I don't want to say her name. Shit, I already said her name. Our oldest went into the hot tub and got out. And about 5 minutes later, we hear, "Mom, quick, come here." And it's Easton. She's downstairs. Lindsay goes running. She's in the bathroom. She goes to open the door. The whole entire room is covered in vomit and shit. And I'm running down. I have towels. All I could do was bring towels. And then so we're cleaning this up and we're like, oh, this poor kid, she must have had some horrible, I don't know, gastrointestinal, something happened. And while we're cleaning it up, we hear, Mom, quick, come here. And we go running upstairs, and one of the other couple's daughters is in the bathroom, and all the women run into the bathroom, of course. And she's sitting on the toilet, doing what she's doing on the toilet and leaning over and puking into the shower. And now we're like, oh, and this is like midnight, just after the ball dropped. So midnight, then we have to leave in like 9 hours, basically. So we're cleaning up this mess, and then we hear Mom, and we're like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. And we turn around to look at the stairs, and one of the littlest, the boy, is coming down. He's wearing like footy pajamas with like a butt flap that is flying out both sides, poop just coming out both sides. And he's got one piece of like macaroni stuck to his forehead that he had vomited. And our cousin Lacey, who he was like running down the stairs, like with he looked like he was wearing a jetpack of poop. And he's flying down the stairs, and Lacey saw the rice or pasta or whatever it was stuck on his forehead. And she started laughing so hard that she completely pissed herself, like flooded the kitchen floor, flooded it. And so I'm laughing. I'm about to pee. The poor kid is just like poop, vomit everywhere. This cycled through every single one of the kids except for one. And it went all the way through to the next morning, where our other kid was sitting at the dining room table with a bucket.
It sounds like food poisoning. It really does.
None of the adults got it.
What did they eat that you didn't? Was that
macaroni? We all ate the same thing. We all ate the same stuff all day long. And then some of the adults got a little bit sick after we all got home. But I was literally like, this is the apocalypse. Like, we are not going to be able to leave this house. We're infected forever. And the house, we've run out of towels and sheets, and the house is covered in shit and vomit. And this deposit is they're gonna take our deposit or whatever it is. Yeah. Wow. But that was like our New Year's Eve post-apocalyptic. Well, I guess it was apocalyptic at that time. Yeah, I think it might have been norovirus.
How do you stick a comment to the screen? Because you were doing that earlier.
Oh, you just click. Which one do you want me to do?
Any of them. Like, how do you just do it?
You click show on the comment.
Show? Oh, all I see is a play button. You mean that thing that looks like a play button?
Yeah, it says show.
I don't see anything that says show. But
I don't know if you can do it unless you're a co-host.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, okay. That's gross.
Yeah.
And funny.
Oh,
and
God,
it's what I lived with for 4 days here. It was bad.
Yeah, like
also when Stuart also got sick, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. He started peeing on the floor. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, buddy.
Anyway, he's fine now. He's fine. So
we've gone completely off the rails.
Julie
again.
Albert scolding Chris Albert, if it is in fact Julie, is in fact my new favorite side story of this whole saga. Yeah. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. And those women in that family, man, Julie Albert, her sister, like they're tough. Jill Daniel, they tough.
Mm-hmm.
Julie Albert, of course, famously repeated Buchanan's nickname on the stand during the first trial. His inappropriate.
Wait, say that again.
Julie Albert is the one who, when asked about Yuri Buchanan on the stand, said his name as Bukkake.
Bukkake. Right.
Which obviously is a name that a really well-known blogger, YouTube presenter made up for him. And the reaction, David Yannetti's reaction to it, he talked about this on a stream fairly recently. And he was just like, I just decided to let it sit for a minute because I didn't know what to do. Anyway.
The only other thing I wanted to bring up, which was Karen Reed adjacent, is we talked about this last time, but I want to reiterate, if you want to understand the sidebars and you are a visual learner like me, go to the trial channel on YouTube. They have taken the sidebars and they've inserted them into the actual trial by way of voice actors or AI. I'm not sure what they're using.
I'm sure it's AI. Yeah.
But, I have to say, I think it is AI, but they have found voices on AI that sound just like Alan Jackson, just like Bev, just
They
like
made
Lally.
those. They made those. You can just take
Oh, they
someone
did?
talking and turn that into an AI voice. Yes.
Well, that's what they did, and it's amazing. Otterpop said, I didn't watch the first trial. Watching sidebar coverage has been wild. Isn't it crazy? So go watch it. I think what they have up right now is days 1 through 4. So the first video is 1 through 3, and then day 4. Day 4 is very, very interesting to me.
Who testified on day 4?
It was Katie McLaughlin.
Katie McLaughlin, yeah.
So she was, remember when she said, you know, he's like, do you know who Caitlin Albert is? And she's like, I went to school with someone named Caitlin Albert.
So look at all these photos of you with Caitlin Albert.
Well, that's the thing that's interesting about the sidebar is that Bev didn't want to allow that stuff in. And he's like, she's hiding something. You can tell she's hiding something. Like, this is crazy. I need to impeach her. So I would say, go check it out. Yes, I agree. Emily C and Corey, what they're doing is great, but it's too hard for me to understand without seeing the context. And that's what I love about the trial channel is that they're giving you the context of the before and after the sidebar happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes the sidebar, I think a lot of people who maybe were watching it were thinking, oh, these sidebars are happening because everyone's having an issue. But one of the things that I learned was that Bev was setting the sidebars up in advance sometimes.
Yeah.
So she would be like, if you're getting ready to talk about this, call a sidebar first, you know?
Correct.
So they're not always combative. It's just usually sometimes just working out some information that needs to come out. But in the day 4 sidebars, she and Alan Jackson are going at it. And it's really interesting. And the lawyer, also covered those, covered what the trial channel did.
I like that guy.
I really like him a lot.
I don't know him. Keep in mind, there could be some dark secret that I don't know about everybody. But I like it. He's really no nonsense. His videos are short. They explain shit. Like he seems like a stand-up YouTuber.
I think he is. And I think he keeps his nose out of the drama, which is really great. But what he's doing with these sidebar, the trial channel sidebars, is he's explaining the legal side of what's being argued in the sidebar. And I really appreciate that. So he's he's basically talking about whether he thinks, Bev was right in her rulings and what Alan Jackson is asking for, or what David Yannetti is asking for. And it's really great. That was hysterical. Bev is giving me hives.
Yeah, she really did not seem to care much for Alan Jackson. That's for sure. I think that's putting
facts. I'm going to star this one comment and come back to it in a minute, but
you can do that. You have so much power.
Yeah. Well, I sent you the co-host login. You just haven't used it.
Oh, I clicked on the link you sent me. I have to log in. I have to create an account. I have to log in. Got it. I didn't know.
We'll do it next time. We'll get there. We're still working it out.
I only know. I told you I can't learn new things anymore. I know Riverside. Like
this is easy. This is actually, I think this is easier than Riverside.
It seems better.
But anyway,
it seems better.
Yeah.
Does it record locally? Like if we wanted to do our local recordings, it doesn't. Okay, good to know.
The only thing that it does differently from Riverside, which bothers me, is that it doesn't give me 2 audio tracks, so we're not on different channels. So I can only edit so much.
Yeah.
But we can fix that by you recording. No, that wouldn't work. Actually.
I just don't think it's necessary. If we're going live, I think the imperfection is part of the art. I really do.
I agree with that. And I do when I'm reposting the video, like if I decide to go in and edit it all or put titles on or do anything like that, I do clean up the audio a little bit, and I think it sounds fine. So
yeah.
Because we are releasing this as an actual podcast as well, not just video. So I do have to do something.
When I remember to, I actually forgot to do the last one you sent me because I was dealing with
a lot of stuff. Ofo Show, I'm going to put this one up, says, I'm interested in seeing the Proctor sidebars, particularly for the part of the testimony where Proctor tried to say Yannetti showed up at Courtney Proctor's school. Yes.
Okay.
Sidebar then moved on. I cannot wait to see that one.
That was their investigator, from what I understand, right? Paul?
Yes.
So their investigator interviewed somebody in the parking lot of the school where Courtney Proctor happened to work. Was it Lucky? I think it was Lucky that he met there. And
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember that they had a defense investigator who was interviewing witnesses, and that the parking lot of the school was a place to meet. Because I remember later Lucky testifying. Oh, it was yet Lucky about what a Ford Edge looked like versus a Jeep Liberty. And he was like, oh, well, the taillights are completely different. It's this. And apparently the investigator, what the state's narrative is that the investigator showed him what a Ford Edge looked like. And Lucky was like, no. He asked me to point one out in the parking lot. And I was like, there's one right there.
That was at the bowling alley, though.
I thought that was at the school. Anyway, I think
that was at the bowling alley.
But the school was very clearly a public parking lot at which to meet. The idea that the defense would be trolling Michael Proctor through his wife's workplace. This isn't Twitter, people. This isn't like free Karen Reed drama Twitter. People are not adding people's workplaces when they work on a defense team. They are just not fucking doing that. It's not what they're getting paid $1,100 an hour to do. So, I'm looking forward to the Proctor. I'm looking forward to Higgins a lot.
All of it. I can't wait to see the Jen McCabe sidebars.
I think there's going to be stuff in the sidebars, I'm hoping, where they say, Your Honor, we have evidence that blank. And then we'll then know what they have evidence of that we haven't yet heard. I don't feel like we've gotten that aha moment yet. I really want to hear the Albert Rock sidebar from trial 2. Although the more I think about it, the more I believe that may have been benign because the defense team has never talked about it again. So I think if it were an act of nefarious, willful trickery, I do think they would have talked about it publicly. I suspect it may have just been the homeowner trying to literally be helpful. Like this was where the Alberts lived, this rock. I don't know. But I don't think it's as nefarious as I suspected it was.
I can't wait to hear the sidebars about anything that has to do with the federal case. Because I think that's where we're going to hear that's where the feds said they did this.
Yeah.
You know,
we have a report that shows X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. What's the audience looking forward to hearing in the sidebars that we haven't heard yet?
I would love to
is Corey putting out, how is she, because you're on Twitter, so you get when she drops them, is she putting them out
the document dump out with the first one? I haven't seen a new document dump, and that's really what I'm looking for. So Twitter or Reddit are the two places to get that. Although the Justice for Karen Reed subreddit has turned into a real cesspool of people just either shitting on Meredith O'Neill or shitting on Turtle Boy or shitting on Mike Crawford or shitting on. It's like you're all taking your eyes off the prize. And as I said yesterday, they're all behaving. All those people who are like anti-Turtle Boy people are all behaving as badly as they're saying he behaved. It's like if somebody ran over your dog, it's like killing their dog. Like that's what they're doing. And they're calling it accountability. What is accountability? What does accountability look like to you? You can't define it other than public humiliation, embarrassment. Like accountability is a different thing than I think whatever it is those folks are trying to do. But anyway, that Reddit's turned into something sad, and it bums me out because I love participating over there. So
yeah. Tony wants the sidebars about the McAlbert text messages. So do I. Ofo Show said something interesting. There's a possibility. I don't really know the answer to that question, but I know the answer is
yeah. That stuff is under seal. But we might have some indications about what it is through things that the lawyers say, not citing it specifically, but saying we intend to show that blah, blah, blah. So I think it'll give us some good clues unless we get, Epstein style 20 pages of black, which we can then just copy and paste into a Word document and see all of it. So don't let your Adobe license expire if you want to make redacted PDFs. So that is my hot tip to you.
That is so crazy to me that this is the United States government. How are we not doing better redactions here when you can take a document and copy and paste the redacted black parts into Adobe and it tells you what's underneath the black line? What are they doing?
At New Hampshire courts, they do a physical. Well, I don't know how they do all of them, but the stuff we've gotten to write our books have been physical redactions. So you get it, and somebody literally either has gone over it with a marker, or they have a black square that's like a graphic that they put over. So it's like a picture over the words. Emily C, by the way, being called out in the comments, what a fucking sweetie Emily C is. She is pure of heart, sweet of soul. Her graphic design never fails to impress me and delight me, and her outlook, her takes, she is doing it right as far as I'm concerned. She's so lovely. There's a reason why Corey likes talking with her. It's because she's a lovely person. I would love to talk to her on the show.
We need to have Corey on the show. How do we make that happen? Can everybody message Corey and say, please come on Something's Off podcast?
Yeah. And there's a couple people who have expressed interest in coming on that I'm really hoping do that. I have questions for. I also just have questions for, like, who are you? How did you get involved in all this? Like, they're very basic. Because I think that people sort of think that everybody, like, I sometimes will, like, I texted Aiden Carney like over the weekend, and I was like, who is this person? He's the only person I know who's like an encyclopedia of all who these characters are. Right. So sometimes I'll just be like, who is this? And I'll be like, oh, that's so and so. They're one of the Canton 9. They blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I still don't know what that means. Like, there's an encyclopedia of people. And someone earlier said I have a good memory. I do not. I only remember things that caused me to run screaming into my husband's office. Those are the moments I remember.
You have a pretty good memory about Karen Reed stuff. You and I both get names mixed up sometimes. Like, there are so many McAlberts.
Because we're old.
It's not just because we're old, Rebecca. It's because there are so many McAlberts running around, and keeping all their names straight and all their relationships straight is kind of crazy. El Penguino 22 says, click that like button. And I agree. Subscribe if you're here too and you're not subscribed. TC Nerd said, you're shocked the government. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, he says no politics after dropping this political bomb.
Oh,
a lot of dead people, fraudsters collecting. Just take that off the screen. Take that off the screen. Okay. We're not getting into that today. I have thoughts.
We're not getting into politics today. Yeah. So is there anything else you want to talk about with Karen Reed adjacent stuff?
No, there's a lot I want to say that I'm not saying, but no.
Really?
I just have a lot of coven thoughts, and I hate to use that word because it's like very gendered, but like a coven can also include warlocks as far as I'm concerned. There's just a lot of conspiring going on and pretending not to have conspiring going. It's just wild to me. It is wild to me to have somebody say so-and-so did this, and then they post a screenshot of something that literally means nothing as proof of this ridiculous, also unimportant. It's so boring. And I'm talking about it, so clearly it's not. But I will say, like, the making of remaking of your whole brand around hating one person is not sustainable, and it's not that interesting. So do
you think that there's some splintering, like fracturing going on in the McAlbert side on the McAlbert side?
I have long thought that. I mean, there's always been rumors along those lines. I mean, we've been hearing rumors for a while that Nicole and Brian are broken up. I don't see any like court documented evidence of that. He did buy a home in Maine, like a vacation home in Maine a couple years ago. You can see that. By the way, you can look up property transfer records and county assessments to see where everybody's property situation is. Unless they have an oblique trust, like you can see who owns what, who sold what, who bought what transfer taxes they paid, etc. And when it kind of came out that he was in Maine, I was just curious because Maine has a very different set of transparency laws than Massachusetts does. And I'm like, I'm curious about these fractures. I'm curious about all this stuff. And if he's a Maine resident now, maybe some of that would be there, which is how I found the house in Maine. But none of that's important. All this is important. But I do think that there are internal fractures. How could there not be? I think there's probably a lot of division about who should be talking, who shouldn't be talking. Marriages clearly strained. I think there's evidence now, actual recorded evidence that marriages are strained.
Well, and I think it's all of the Maine people too. Like, it sounds like Chris's marriage might be strained. We know the McCabe's marriage is strained. We have heard rumors that Brian and Nicole are getting divorced. Like, this has just affected so many lives. And the fact that everybody's so embedded still in the drama of it kind of blows my mind. I mean, we're talking about it, but I'm talking about the like drama that's happening about the fundraising and about Turtle Boy and Karen Reed. And, it's like we have never, ever, ever really focused on John O'Keefe and who killed him and left his niece and nephew without another parent. And right now, I think he's been completely forgotten. I don't even think the civil cases are about him.
No. They're about defamation and life ruining and financial consequences of being accused of things. I think that, I mean, I think that is a misconception in a lot of true crime storytelling, even very responsible true crime documentary making, true crime books. The best reporting out there, The New Yorker, for instance, does some great true crime work. The misconception is that sometimes the story is about the victim. Sometimes it's about, like, there's that incredible reporting about that serial rapist in down south that I don't want to cite the wrong, but I think it was The New Yorker did the story. And the story is very much focused on a victim that reported and it's told through that lens. In murder cases and death cases and missing persons cases, there is often a very performative push to put the victim at the center of the story. The problem is the victim is what started the story. The victim is not actually in. So John O'Keefe was not John O'Keefe, who he is as a person, what he was like, was not part of the Karen Reed investigation. It wasn't.
Right.
And John O'Keefe, the issue is that the McAlberts built their entire PR campaign and built all of their testimony on this story that he was their good friend. So insofar as he has been evoked, I think Karen Reed's been very honest about it. She said in one of the television interviews that, like, she's not really mourning him anymore. She said something along those lines because it's been years. And they had a very intense and volatile relationship. She went through a lot of trauma. They didn't break up. He died. She went through a lot of trauma, had to refocus kind of on herself. And so, no, she's not waking up every morning thinking about John O'Keefe. And I think that is a very honest answer. I think the McAlberts, having built a performative brand around him being their best friend, there's more, I think, accountability there. Or maybe people perceive there should be more accountability around their centering him in the story. And when they do it, it's just so ham-fisted and so inauthentic. And but I also don't think, and we've encountered this writing our books, and we've encountered it covering true crime podcasts on Crime Writers On. Like, when people complain about a story not being more victim-centric, it's like, what kind of story are you telling? If it involves a death, unless who that person was directly is the reason why they died, which is usually not the case, then the story really isn't about them. It's about the process, procedure, investigation, comeuppance, whatever. And it's sad, but it is actually true. It's actually true. Like, the Kohlberger trial was about Brian Kohlberger and whether or not he killed those 4 students and why, and consequences, right? That's why the victim impact statements I find to be so difficult, because, like, you're speaking for somebody who's not actually given their consent for you to speak for them, and they can't. And so for your presumption of, like, it all has like a deleterious effect in a way that I think people don't think about. But yes, he has been lost in the story. I am mostly going to be watching the DA's race, Adam Deitch, who has been running all of his ads and campaigns around accountability and trustworthiness at the DA's office. And I wonder whether or not he will reopen the case if he's elected. That would be interesting.
Especially because he was involved in the federal side of the investigation.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Oh, he was involved.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, because he was already involved in the case that sort of, like, kicked this whole thing off.
He knows what the feds know. He knows.
Yes.
So there's an interesting comment here. Are there any viable third options, that it wasn't Karen or the McAlberts, that no one involved in the case actually knows what happened? So when I first learned about this case, that was my initial thought, was that maybe the McAlberts just had a pile of drugs on their coffee table, and that's why they didn't want the cops to come in the house. And it was some other kind of accident, a plow, something, whatever. That was my initial thought. And granted, that was when I did an interview for the Boston Globe back at the beginning of trial 1. Then I really looked into it. The sequence of story morphs on the McAlbert side, the specific things that they obviously tried to hide, specific communications that they either lied about, obfuscated about, or deleted, the timing, everything that they purposely hid from investigators or tried to hide from investigators points to way more than there being a pile of cocaine on the table. It just does. I mean, there would be almost no consequences for that. And removal of Colin Albert from every narrative, the removal of Chris Albert from every narrative, the rehoming of Chloe, the sale of the house, the Brian Higgins lying about not going to making any more phone calls. Like, it's all, I would credulously say maybe, except that I can't anymore, especially seeing their testimony at the 2 trials.
Right. Okay, so I agree with you on all that. We've gone over it so many times, like who could have done this? How could this have happened? I think everybody's done that. But I have a hard out today at 11:20.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that.
No, I just realized that we were getting I didn't think we were going to be butting up to it, but we are. So I want to tell you about a case that I've worked on for a really long time. And we obviously will be talking more about Karen Reed stuff because that's what we do. But let me pull up this comment that I starred. Where did it go? And I don't know who this person is. Maybe you do. There we go. Do you know Movie Dude 74?
Nope. Hello,
I hope
Movie
he's
Dude
still
74.
here. He sent this like 20 minutes ago, and I started. And the reason I started is because I'm assuming that he saw the title of our live, which is about Veronika Rodriguez. And we have a tendency, just so the audience understands, like we like to ease into our stories. So we usually start our episodes off by, talking about a bunch of random updates about true crime, and then obviously some tangents. And then we usually get into like the meat of, the story that we're telling. We don't always do it that way, but I feel like
that's Urgent News, we put that at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. And Movie Dude, can you tell me what your name is? Because I feel weird calling you Movie Dude.
He doesn't have to give his name on the internet.
You're right. He doesn't,
but
I just would.
Objectionable. That would make me feel like he should stand behind it with his real name. He's just thanking you.
I just appreciate him being here. And yes, I am going to talk about Veronika Rodriguez. Before I do, though, I want to say Rob, that's very sweet of you to tell me your name, even though Rebecca thinks that you shouldn't. I appreciate it.
I didn't say you should. I said he doesn't have to.
You're right. You're being so nice today.
Can I say?
Do you want to? I'm just thinking about the tweets that you got sent over the weekend that you sent me.
Oh, well, I did take it to heart that I am, in fact, a cunt. So I'm trying to.
She got a couple of acts.
They go
Twitter.
right to the R word and right to the C word every single time. It's like
I'm like, what is wrong with these people?
The McAlberts and the McAlbert supporters, the folks that tweet on their behalf or them as sock puppets, they fucking love to immediately I really disagree with this. I think you need to reconsider that you're a fucking cunt. I hope you die. You're retarded. Yeah. They say all those things, and I'm repeating them because those are the actual words they used, not because I think it's okay to call those people things on the internet. But anyway, I interrupted you again.
It's okay. I will quote one of the tweets at you, which is, "What's it like to go through life as a useless cunt?" To which I said, "I think you're a very useful cunt."
I do my best. I do my best.
I know you do. I think you're very
putting
useful.
in the hard work.
Sorry, I know we dropped the C word a couple of times, but that's what we did. Did you bring the swear jar today?
No, I haven't. I'll have to put some cash in it later.
Okay, thanks for bringing the swear jar. Hey, Chris Denton, glad to see you here. Rob, back to Rob. Actually, before I get to you, we had a couple of tips come in while we were live, and I just want to say thanks to Michelle and Rob. Oh, this is Rob. I think it's the same Rob. Thanks, Rob.
I know other countries don't take the C word as insults. I know that. I guarantee you that's not how cunt is being used in this context. They're not you silly cunt. They're not doing that.
Yeah.
It's not that.
They mean it. They mean it. Okay. Let's talk about Veronika's case. So backstory for me is that I did an in-depth investigation into what happened to Veronika, the trial, and the outcome. I feel like it's one of my favorite pieces of work that I've done because I got really wrapped up into it. I've been involved in the Pamela Smart case for over a decade, so I feel very invested in that case. But with this case, I was uncovering some things that were making me really uncomfortable. You and I talked a little bit about that. And I became a little obsessed. I actually reached out to Maggie Freeling, our friend, because you know, for anyone who's followed Maggie's career, you know, she's really passionate about what she does, and she has a tendency to get deep into the cases so that they affect her personally.
Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, by the way, Maggie.
Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, and Bone Valley. Did you listen to it?
Of course we did. We reviewed it on Crime Writers.
So good. I love her work. She was one of my first idols in true crime.
She's funny as fuck too, and she's this tall.
And we have some exciting news. I guess I can share it right now. But Maggie's going to come on and co-host with me while Rebecca's on vacation. Not this week, but next week. So I will be sure to put that information out there so you can be here for our conversation. I'm really excited to talk to Maggie. I have so many questions, probably going to fangirl all over her. But anyway, I reached out to Maggie because I was getting really deeply involved in this case, and it was overwhelming me a little bit. It was causing me to not sleep well. And I was actually scared for my own safety at one point. So if you want to listen to the full in-depth investigation I did on Veronika's case, it's over on the In Between podcast. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to listen to it ad-free, you can listen to it on Patreon, but otherwise it's on Apple and Spotify and all that. So I came into contact. I was introduced to Veronika's case through Ellen Marsh, our other friend, who covered Veronika's case briefly on the show she did with Rabia. And then Ellen actually got me on the phone with Veronika, and then I heard her case. So this is what happened, the way that I understand it. And a lot of this is from Veronika's perspective, but it's also from court transcripts, and it's also from speaking with Veronika's main expert witness, who is an amazing human being, and I will introduce you to him in a second. But Veronika Rodriguez, she was in her mid-20s in January 2023. She had just enlisted in the military. So she was at the lowest level. I don't think she'd even gone through, if I remember correctly, she hadn't even gone through all of her basic training and all that stuff. She was working at a dental office on base, and she lives in this really small area in Pennsylvania, Lebanon County, which is the main part of this area is the base. And so she was working there. This guy came in and she was like the assistant working in the front, and he started getting kind of flirty with her. She knew he was military because he, was there he had to have like teeth work done because the military was asking him to have it done. He started getting flirting. She was flirting back. She was single and young and whatever. He asked for her phone number and she said no. And she said, but if you want to give me yours, I might get in touch, whatever. So I always love it when women do that, because you don't ever have to feel like you have to give your number to anybody. If you want to contact somebody, grab their number, that I think that's always amazing. So he did that. This guy's name was Fahad Pervez. I can say his name because the trial is over and because I've interviewed him personally, and that is on the record as well. So if you want to get into that interview, which is very uncomfortable, it's on the In Between podcast. Basically a couple weeks went by or days went by, sorry. And Veronika did reach out to him because he had given her book recommendations, and she, said, yes, thanks for the book recommendations. He asked her out to dinner. She said she wasn't sure. She hummed and hawed a little bit. And eventually he asked her, to go out to dinner, and she said yes. So they made a plan to meet for dinner. I just want to pull up my notes so I get all this right. So basically they, in 2023, hold on, let me get to sorry guys, give me a second to grab my notes. They're all over the place here. So this is right after New Year's. It might have even been around New Year's. Is that right? Sorry, Rebecca.
It's okay.
Are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. So right around New Year's Eve, like I think it was actually just after New Year's, they met up at this place, right? So I drove out to this area of Lebanon County myself so I could understand, because the case was always very confusing to me as to where they were going and how they were getting places and all that. And what I can tell you is that there are basically these two bars that they went to, and the bars are out in the middle of cornfields. Like you're driving on these old rural roads and you're driving through corn, and then there's a stop sign, and to the right, there's a bar right there.
Yeah. It's like Sinners.
like Sinners, very rural. This is a Mennonite community and an Amish community. So mostly Amish, but Veronika actually grew up Mennonite.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, very conservative. So they go to this one restaurant and it's closed because they were celebrating New Year's, right? So Fahad is like, hey, let's go to a different place. Let's find someplace else. And Veronika says, no, we should just reschedule. I don't think anything else is going to be open. And he's like, no, let's go. So she is in his car at this point. And so she agrees to it because she feels like she kind of has to. I think we've all been in that situation. And he says, hey, why don't you call the other bar and make sure they're open? So Veronika says that she actually dials the wrong number to this other bar. Like, she knows this area well. She's lived here for a while. She dials the wrong number so that she can get a bad signal or a different person or something like that, an excuse to get out of going to the second bar with him. Because at this point in the car, he'd already started getting overtly sexual and she was starting to feel uncomfortable. So she actually turned her phone on to start recording because she was feeling so uncomfortable. So she calls and she says, oh, sorry, they're, like no one's answering. So they must be closed. We should just reschedule. And he says, no, we're going to go there and see if they're open. So he drives them to the second bar. Obviously the bar is open because she didn't call the right number. And he's like, oh, great. Look, they're open. They go inside. They're the only people in there besides bar staff. And they sit down and he orders a drink for her. He orders her a Long Island iced tea.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Exactly. This is a person who doesn't really drink that much. She grew up Mennonite. Like I said, she didn't even start drinking.
The rapiest of the cocktails.
It's the rapiest of the cocktails. So she's like, I've never had one of those before. She usually only drinks like wine and beer. She's a lightweight, that kind of thing. From what Veronika says, he buys her several Long Island iced teas. They order an appetizer and 2 meals. So a quesadilla, a burger, and calamari is what they say they order. The bill comes to I think the bill comes to $86 without tip. And keep in mind, they're in rural Lebanon County, Pennsylvania, and they're at a bar. And so basically they've ordered food. She barely eats it. She says she has 3 to 4 Long Island iced teas and she's starting to feel like she's going to black out. He is getting more and more aggressive. He's older than her and she knows that. She doesn't know what his age is, but she knows that he's quite a bit older than her. And so he starts talking about like kids your age only look at their phones. Like, why don't you get off your phone and pay attention to me? And, he takes her phone from her at one point and tries to hold it up to her face to like get her face to unlock the phone. She is like, I have to go to the bathroom. She keeps asking for water. He keeps ordering her Long Island iced teas. She goes to the bathroom. She says while she's in the bathroom, she feels like she's going to black out. Like this is the worst kind of drunk she's ever been. And she even feels like maybe he actually put something in her drink. She's not sure. She comes back out and she's like, okay, we need to get going. And so he pays the bill. She made a joke earlier on in the evening that she was just here for the free food. And he took mighty offense to that. So they get out into the car and before they get into the car, he takes her glasses off. She always wears glasses. Every time I've ever seen her, she's wearing glasses. He takes her glasses off and says she looks more beautiful without them. And then he hides her glasses from her. And he also, at this point, takes her phone and hides that from her. And at one point, he also grabs her wallet and hides that from her. They are in the car. Instead of driving back to where her car is, he's talking about going someplace more secluded. And she's saying, I don't really feel comfortable with that. But, basically they park, they're in the parking lot of Snitz Creek, which is like a brewery. And it's connected to a gas station. I've been there and I was really shocked to know that this was all in one location, but they're parked outside of this place and he keeps trying to kiss her. She has this recorded. It says, hey dude, stop. You keep trying to kiss me. Stop. And he keeps going in for it till eventually he does kiss her. He kisses her so hard, he makes her nose bleed.
Oh my God.
So she's like, and he's like trying to, oh, I didn't even mention this. He's a doctor. And so
not an unimportant detail. Yeah.
No, it's a very important detail because throughout this conversation, he keeps trying to diagnose her and doctor her and be like, well, the reason you're having a a nosebleed is because of your thyroid and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, no, the reason I'm having a nosebleed is because you kissed me too hard. So she gets out of the car. She goes into the gas station. She says she wants to go into the gas station to see if she can talk to the clerk there and use their phone to call her family to get out of there, because now she's too drunk to drive. Now she has no phone. Now she has no wallet. He follows her in, so she can't do that. And he buys her like aspirin or whatever. She goes into the bathroom. She's trying to figure out what to do. She throws up, if I remember correctly. When she opens the door, he's just standing there to the bathroom. They go back out to the car. She's like, I really should just get home or whatever. And he's like, no, let's go for a drive. So she still doesn't really have a choice because he has all of her stuff. He drives her out to the conference center where he had been doing some sort of a training earlier. And keep in mind, this guy is not from Pennsylvania. And what he's told her is that he's in town. He doesn't know anything about the town. He's new to the town. Can she show him around? He takes her out to the conference center where he had a conference. The conference center is completely surrounded by a wooded area. It's completely secluded. It's like tucked away. So they go out there and they park. This is all progressing. Like he's getting more and more pushy. She's said no several times at this point. She's also said to him, are you going to be upset if we don't have sex? And he's like, no. And she's like, okay, great. But he keeps trying to kiss her. At one point, he puts his hands down her pants and she says, dude, you just put your hands down my pants.
So she's documenting everything by repeating back what's happening for the tape.
She is. And he said, oh, no, I didn't. He was like, I was just doing an exam. I was just doing a medical exam.
Oh, my fucking Larry Nassar.
Yeah. So anyway, he's pressuring her more and more and more. She has said no several times. And eventually from what she tells me, he pulls his pants down. He gets into the back seat, pulls his pants down. She's sort of leaning over the front seat to look into the back, and they're talking. And he pulls her into the back seat with him and onto his lap. Starts undressing her. And, trigger warning, obviously, we're getting into some heavy territory here. He forcibly had sex with her. She says that it was forcible. He says it was consensual. She says no, again, yells no, actually. And that is on the tape that I have now heard. And it ends, and they're just sitting there in the back seat, like talking about movies. And then red and blue lights show up behind them. And he goes, stay here, I'll handle this. And from what Veronika tells me, he reaches over the front seat into the glove box and he pulls out a police badge. He gets out of the car and he goes over and he talks to the police. She says he flashes his badge at the police. The police never come over to the car. They know that they were in the car hanging out, but Fahad is handling this and the police never feel like they have to come over to the car. So he comes back to the car and asks for her ID, which she gives him. Yes.
What in the Gabby Petito is going on right now?
Exactly. And basically they just get a warning and then they go. He's like, she's being friendly. Like, I'll text you when I get home. She's being friendly because she needs to get out of this. As far as I'm concerned, that's my opinion. She gets home. She's still being nice to him. She's still texting with him. And then he starts saying things like, you can't tell anybody about what happened, blah, 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 blah. So a couple of days go by. She's been talking to her friends like, oh, I had sex in a car with a guy, like not sure what to make of it or whatever. Her friends are like, I don't believe you that it was consensual. What really happened? Because this isn't like her. Up until this date, she had actually been abstaining from sex. She was celibate because she wasn't in a relationship. She's very religious. She was trying to have a clean start. So this is very much out of the blue. Hi, Linz. Sorry, I know I'm still online. She's got to get ready because she has to go.
She's going to Julie Albert your ass in a second.
I know. Everybody, that's Lindsay. So anyway, a couple days go by. Her friends are like, what the hell really happened? Like, tell us the truth. And she does. All of this, by the way, gets documented. Like her witnesses basically get documented. A couple days go by. The military, her sergeant calls her and is like, hey, I need you to come in and talk to me about something. And she's like, okay. So she comes in and he says, we had a report from the local police that you and a major in the Army, a doctor, were stopped and cautioned for fraternizing, basically, which is against the military's rules, especially with a major and a recruit, basically. She's not even like, she's brand new. And she has no idea that it got reported to her supervisor, basically her sergeant. He's like, we're going to have to do an investigation. Do you want to tell me what happened? So she starts telling him her side of the story and what happened, and is like, I feel like the sex wasn't consensual. I couldn't get out of the car. I couldn't do this. I have it all recorded. And he's like, great. So the military starts investigating. They also call Fahad in. Fahad and Veronika are communicating, and he's like, you can't tell them we had sex. You can't, like all this stuff. She has a witness to him saying this to her, because she's also a hairdresser, and one of her clients happened to be in her chair when he called her. She put it on speaker. The witness heard it. She goes to the cops because that's what her sergeant told her to do. Like, you have to go to the cops to report it. She gets a rape kit done. The investigation starts. From the moment the investigation starts, she, and not him, is the one they're going after.
Yeah.
They start investigating her. She tells them about this recording she has, right? So when Veronika went home, she was like, this is someone who's in her early 20s. They know their phones really well. She went home and she took this hour-plus recording that she had on her phone of everything that happened, and she broke it down into the chunks where the bad things happened, so that she could easily, because she can't send the entire file to them.
Yep. Yeah.
She doesn't know how. So she's like, well, here's all the bad stuff. And it's her saying, no, it's her saying, you just put your hands down my pants. Don't do that. It's all the things. And she sends them all these little clips. And because she did that, they think she's hiding something. They think she's edited this audio. And so they start investigating it. And they bring Fahad in. They don't take his phone. They take her phone. They don't take his phone. They don't do any inquiries with the military. They go to the bar to ask for surveillance footage, and the manager's like, oh, that doesn't work. And they're like, okay, cool. See you later. They don't try to get a search warrant for the bar. They don't do anything that they should be doing in a real investigation. And the woman who was the lead on this investigation, Devin Kramer, is also now the chief of police in this area, right?
Amazing.
Yeah. The guy who was investigating, this is his first sexual assault case. When he was on the stand in the actual trial, which I'll get to in a minute, he actually was like, he was asked, well, do you think that she had too many drinks to give consent? And the guy, the detective on the stand, said, consent for what? That was his answer. I was just like, whoa. I mean, that's like, essay 101 training. But anyway, so a couple weeks go by, and Veronika is arrested. Because they say she filed a false report. And on top of that, she recorded it, which is a felony in the state of Pennsylvania, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
This is just like that documentary Victim Suspect.
Yes, it is.
Which I really recommend everybody watch.
I do too. And if you have seen it already, you will notice that the expert who is on Victim Suspect, Carl Hirschman, is also Veronika Rodriguez's expert. And he is one of the most amazing men in the whole world. I spent a lot of time talking to Carl. He sent me his report from Veronika's case, and we went through it. I also, when I needed advice about how to proceed with this investigation, he was the one who sort of advised me. His wife is a prosecutor. They're lovely people, and we had great conversations. But anyway, this proceeds to trial. And there is a woman who is the DA in Lebanon County who is named Pierre Hesgraff, who completely tore Veronika apart. Victim shame, victim blame, everything. They play the entire tape. They play the entire recording in trial in front of a jury. The judge will not allow Carl Hirschman to take the stand as an expert witness, but they will allow his report to come in. There were a lot of really
not
shitty
as
things.
effective. We know that's not as effective.
No. Fahad takes the stand as well and actually perjures himself on the stand, and I was able to pull that information out of him when I interviewed him. Veronika is found guilty, and at the time, the DA was asking for 16 years in prison for what she did. And eventually, I went there for the sentencing. She was eventually sentenced to 1 to 23 months in prison, which is what the DA ended up asking for, and then probation outside of that. But basically, the judge was saying, if you mess up in the first 30 days, you're getting 2 years.
Damn.
She'd never been to prison, no prior convictions, really good kid. Normally, she would have gotten 2 years probation.
Yeah.
Not in this case. She ends up going to jail. She was in jail for, I think, 3 weeks. They had her sort of sectioned in, like quarantine and everything like that. As soon as she got into the general population, she started getting death threats from other inmates. So she was then put into like a solitary situation. Her current boyfriend, who's a lovely human being, actually put together all the money to bond her out. And so she got out like 6 days early or something like that from the 30 days. And she's on probation now. She is appealing the decision.
As she should.
As she should. There were a lot of things that went wrong. I don't think her attorney was very strong. And that's my opinion. I've met him. I've spoken with him. She has, I think, a good attorney now. And basically, during my investigation, there were things that I wanted to try to figure out as to why this happened. So I did interview Fahad. I interviewed him for an hour and a half. It's one of the hardest things I've had to do in my experience so far in podcasting and investigating these cases, because I'm a sexual assault and abuse survivor myself. And so talking to a man who I believe, because I've heard the tape now, and I've read the transcripts, who I believe coerced somebody and forced somebody into a sexual situation that they did not want to take part in, it was really difficult to be nice and to have a conversation as a human being. But I think I did an okay job because I got him to talk to me. I got him to walk me through his mindset of like, well, when she said no, what were you thinking? And why did you do this?
Right.
I think that conversation of everything was the most important, some of the most important work I did on this case. But one of the most important things that came out of that interview, actually 2 things, is prior to my interview with Fahad, I actually had discovered that the chief of police's husband, so you remember Devin Kramer, who was the lead investigator on the case, her husband, for some reason, had dinner with Fahad during the trial and actually paid him through Venmo for dinner. And I asked Fahad the question, do you know the police here? Do you have a badge? Do you know any of these people? And he was like, absolutely not. 100%. I don't know any of these people. I don't even live there. I'm from New York, blah, blah, blah. And I found out that wasn't the case. So I waited until we actually got off the phone. And then I texted him and I said, is this your Venmo? And he said, yeah, that's my Venmo. Why do you want to know? And I said, well, I'm just trying to like figure out where you were and what you were doing, during the time, doing my job. But very clearly on his Venmo, and I verified through like property and marriage records that the guy who paid him for dinner is Devin Kramer's husband, which is an issue. The other thing that he actually said on tape with me was that he wasn't sure if he fully had her consent.
So if he's ever prosecuted, your interview with him could probably be used as evidence. Did you drop the unedited version of the interview? Do you have the unedited version of the interview?
I do, and I've given it.
Would you share it with lawyers if asked?
I've already shared it with the lawyers.
Okay, I was going to say, because that's a dilemma. It's a source.
I know it is, but I also truly believe that this man said the thing to me that he said he didn't do on the stand, and had somebody brought this into the original trial that he wasn't sure if he fully had her consent, then that's the end of it. We also broke down how he said that like he said she only had 1 drink and she said she had 3 or 4.
Right.
And I broke down the bill because I know how much the bill was. I know how much these things cost. And he thinks he paid like $50 or $60 for food at like a rural pub, and he didn't. He paid like $4 or $5 to $10 per appetizer, and the rest of it's drinks and a tip. So there are many things that he lied about. And Veronica's life has been completely upended. She's now a felon because of this.
Yeah.
The judge in sentencing her literally was like, if not for this audio recording, I would be overseeing a rape trial. And I was like, you're goddamn right you would be.
Yeah.
But he was saying that was bad for Fahad, and I'm like, fuck, this is crazy. But anyway, I'm going to have to jump here pretty soon. But yeah, that's the case I really wanted I wanted to talk about, because I want everybody to go listen to the podcast, and I want you to read up as much as you can on Veronica's story. And I also really, really, really want you to share Veronica's story, because like I said, this happens a lot.
Yeah.
Women who are going to do the thing that they tell us we're supposed to do. She did everything right. She went and got a rape kit on her own. She came in with an advocate. Like
she didn't consent out loud. She said no out loud.
She recorded it because she was so worried it was going to get violent.
Have to do all of these things, but all the things that they say, why didn't you do X? Like, she did all of those things.
Yep, she did all those things. So she did all the right things, and the first thing they did was accuse her of the crime and say, you could have ruined this poor man's life.
This is so unbelievably common. You must watch Victim Suspect.
You
folks in the audience, if you haven't, it's a whole investigation on this exact issue. It happens in Connecticut. It happens in Georgia. It happens all over the country. People are prosecuted for reporting rapes. It is wild.
Yes. But not only that, they basically are really like pushed into taking a plea deal sometimes.
Yes, because they don't want to go through the trauma of fighting, being prosecuted for reporting their rape, and their lawyers, usually court-appointed lawyers, are like, just take the deal, and then they have false rape allegation on their record for their whole lives. They're marked.
Yeah.
So her podcast is called The In Between. Check it out. If you like our stream, if you think that we're drama-free enough for you, but you still get the good tea, which I think is kind of our brand. Please tell other people. Our show is smallish. We'd love to grow it. We'd love to have more of you here. So put it on the social channels you're a part of. Tell your friends. Drop us in the comments of other streams. We super appreciate it. And of course, thank you for your tips. Thank you for your cash apps. Mel works so hard on this show, and you're really helping us out, helping us keep doing it when you support it. So, see, I said all the things you didn't have to know.
I appreciate that. Ruby needs her treats. She's in the background here snoring. She's doing the hard work over here. So
yeah.
But anyway, please go support Veronika. Do what you can to share the story, because this is being appealed, and I really hope that she can get the support she needs to get this appeal to go through, because we know how it goes with appeals sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I have to jump.
You have a heart out. You've missed it by 8 minutes, so you better get out of here. Lindsay's gonna kill you.
I know she is. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Rebecca. I will see you again. We will see you again on Thursday.
We'll see you Thursday. Bye.
Bye. Oh.